What if the most valuable lessons in life came from the person you appreciated the least? I used to roll my eyes at my grandfather's advice. To me, his words were boring, a distraction from the fun I thought I deserved. He talked about patience, kindness, discipline, things that felt too heavy for a child to carry. I thought he was trying to slow me down. But after he passed, life didn't slow down. It hit me, fast and hard. And in that chaos, his voice came back. Not to scold, but to guide. Those boring lessons? They became my greatest treasure. Have you ever ignored wisdom from someone who only wanted to protect you? When I was 8, my grandfather made me sweep the porch every morning before school. Not once. Not just when it was dusty. Every single morning. I used to drag the broom like it weighed 100 pounds, hoping he'd tell me to stop. But he just watched, quietly sipping his tea, nodding like everything was unfolding exactly as it should. I didn't understand it then. Why he cared so much about the lines in the dust. Why a crooked bedsheet or missed leaf on the ground bothered him. To me it felt unfair. Like love with conditions. But now looking back I realized something. He wasn't punishing me. He was teaching me how to notice the world. How to care for something even when no one sees it. How to build respect not from fear but from intention. Back then I saw discipline as cold. But maybe discipline was his love language. Adulthood doesn't arrive with a warning. It sneaks in quietly. And one day you're standing in your kitchen, staring at an empty fridge, unsure whether to cry, scream, or just go to bed hungry. I remember that night. The silence in my apartment was so loud it hurt. The lights were on but everything felt dim. That's when I heard it, not out loud but inside. His voice. Soft. Measured. Certain. Don't panic. Breathe. One step at a time. And suddenly I was back in his garage, 10 years old, fumbling with a spark plug, frustrated and tired. He didn't help me. He just stood nearby, sipping tea, saying, "You'll figure it out. You're smarter than you think." Back then, I hated that. Now I understand. He wasn't there to fix things. He was teaching me how not to fall apart when things break. Because life does break. Often. And the only thing that holds you together is what someone once quietly placed inside you. He once made me sit down with a pen and a blank notebook. "Write down how much you spent this week," he said. I was 12. I had no idea why it mattered. Today that notebook sits on my desk. Not because it's fancy, but because it saved me. From overdraft fees. From nights hungry because I forgot what budget meant. It saved me from drowning in a world where no one stops to explain anything. He taught me how to boil rice, how to patch a leak, how to wash my own car. Back then it felt like chores. Now I see it was armor. He never said, "One day you'll need this." He just quietly handed me tools I didn't know I'd need. Until the moment life dropped me and they were the only things I had left. Every time I tighten a screw, balance a spreadsheet, or cook a meal that keeps me going, I'm reminded. He didn't just teach me how to survive. He taught me how to live without fear. He never raised his voice. But when he spoke, even the wind seemed to listen. There was something about his silence. Not empty but full. Like he carried entire worlds inside and chose only to share the parts that mattered most. I used to think wisdom came from talking. From being the loudest, the fastest, the smartest in the room. But he showed me something else. He showed me that stillness is a form of strength. That laughter can be a lifeline. And that sleep, real, deep sleep, is a kind of prayer. He believed in kindness like it was currency. And he gave it out freely. To strangers, to animals, to me. Even on the days I didn't deserve it. His greatest lesson? Listen. Truly. Deeply. Especially when you want to interrupt. Because real wisdom, he said, doesn't come from knowing, but from understanding. He's not here anymore. But somehow he's everywhere. In the way I fold my shirts. In how I double-check the stove. In the quiet way I say thank you to strangers, even when I'm hurting. That's the strange thing about people who love quietly. You don't always notice when they're teaching you. But when they're gone, you realize. You speak with their words. You move with their hands. You live inside the lessons they left behind. So if someone like that is still in your life, listen. Ask questions. Don't wait until the silence teaches you what their voice never got the chance to. Because love, the kind that shapes you, isn't always loud. Sometimes it's a whisper you only hear when the world finally quiets down. Have you ever dismissed the advice Of someone who only wanted the best for you? Before you scroll away, take a moment. Think of that one person who loved you quietly, who taught you without asking for credit. Maybe it's time to call them. Maybe it's time to listen again. If this story reminded you of someone, share it. Let their legacy ripple through more than just your memory. And if you believe wisdom should be heard, leave a comment. Let's keep these voices alive.